Next is from John Kamepa, subject to Strickland versus Khan. The great Konnan once said on K100, "No one gets buried by accident," unquote. And we're just coming out of one of the worst pay-per-view endings and most blatant burials of my entire life as a wrestling fan. Moxley going over Strickland. Question I have is, why do you think Tony Khan buried him? I have opinions. I have so many options. Number one, Swerve Strickland was caught on camera disrespecting Tony Khan to some NFL guy. He literally said, "You can do whatever you want," unquote, when you work for Tony Khan. Number two, Swerve Strickland publicly claimed that WWE were doing contract tampering, trying to re-sign him, which led Tony Khan to offering him a massive seven-figure per year counter offer. Here's the thing. Swerve's own agent released a statement denying that WWE did any contract tampering and simply inquired as to when they go open talks. Strickland lied to Tony. That's interesting, but I want to get back to that. But remind me to get back to number two, Joe. Swerve would tell anyone who would listen to AEW's new TV with Fox for Shockwave. Swerve would tell anyone who would listen to, quote, AEW's new TV deal with Fox for Shockwave, unquote.
Yeah, we watched a video where he was telling that football players at an NFL game about it. We're coming to Fox. Remember that?
So that fell through and should never have made public knowledge, but Swerve wanted to feel like he's not in a failed company. Number four, Swerve was AEW champion before and he bombed to Khan less than 2 months to see what a mistake he'd made. Maybe this burial was Khan's way of saying, quote, "You're not a top guy here," unquote. And number five, the Vlad TV interview. The IWC hates Swerve Strickland now. He's been running his mouth, has been just very disrespectful to Booker T. AEW aren't in the position to start losing fans, and maybe Tony Khan knew that putting the title back on Swerve was a disaster waiting to happen again. Sorry for the long rambling, but this is just a crazy situation. We'd love to hear you guys talk about this at length. I'm not sure if he's buried yet because he's still on the path to the title. Unless it was just a one and done. He lost, and now Moxley's moving on to somebody else. But who's he going to move on to? Who are the options for contenders for the heavyweight title in that company? Swerve, Page, Hangman Page, and MJF, and the champ is Moxley. Like literally, is there any other credible contender that they built up that you want to see go for the title?
No, I don't even right? That he has the title.
Not even. You can't even make a case for Ospreay because he's lost too much and he's doing nothing. You can't even. And Ospreay and Kenny and Okada, they're secondary title holders, which is weird because you could think if they weren't secondary title holders, they could be in the mix for fighting for the world championship. You would think. But question number two here, when he claimed that there was contract tampering, that is an interesting. Because, bro, everybody knows the rules. Okay, you can't. When somebody's under contract, you can absolutely inquire. Okay, when your deal is done, what are you thinking of doing? That's completely commonplace like practice. Like you can okay, bro. How are you supposed to negotiate your next deal if nobody's allowed to talk to you? Like your contract tampering would be like, "Hey, can you get out of your deal right now and come and work for us?" What can you? That's contract tampering. You're tampering with the contract, but they're talking about when the contract's ending.
Well, so really, Disco. At the end of the day, let's say you're Tony Khan, right? Mm-hmm. And Swerve is under contract. You gave him a lot of money. He gets a lot of perks. You're putting him on all these different TV shows, and he's talking with WWE, whatever it is. He's got to wait till his contract's over. But bro, every wrestler is already talking. There's no way you can stop it. There's no way you can find out about it.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. You can talk to them all. No, you can't. You're totally wrong.
No.
You can absolutely talk to people as long as the concept is when your contract is done, what is your employment like going forward? There's nothing wrong with that. That's legally that's absolutely legally the way you do this. You can look it up. You can look it up.
I am looking it up.
All right.
Yeah, but while Connan's looking that up, I'll tell you the story. This was 3 years ago. AEW and Tony said statements about WWE contract tampering. One was supposed to be Swerve, the other was Regal. Regal, of course, wound up leaving. This was reported by Sean Ross Sapp, who mentioned, I can tell you two situations Khan took personally. One of them was Swerve Strickland, who signed a multi-year deal, but WWE went in for Hit Row reunion. Yeah, I believe referred WWE or WWE's talent relations to his lawyer. Okay, now, last year, Swerve commented on it, and he said, "It wasn't like the words re-signed. They asked me about my availability. They never contacted me. They contacted my representation," he clarified. So I don't know, maybe he tried to sound good to Tony. Hey, they're talking to me, or he used it as a
Dude,
negotiating
there's
ploy.
nothing. That's how
No.
That's how these guys try to work their deals. They try to work people. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
if you get caught being dishonest in negotiations, okay, and it gets back to people it could backfire on you.
Yeah. There was a lot of
Case in point from my sources.
Yeah.
Okay. Case in point, Camille. So I'm going to say, okay.
There was also that happened with ECW guys a lot. Konnan might know some of these.
Are you vaping right now, Joe, in the middle of the podcast?
Yeah, I'm an addict. This happened a lot in ECW. Konnan might know about some of these stories, but guys that didn't know that Paul was so close with WWE and Bruce and stuff like that would try to utilize that with Paul. I think Shane Douglas was one specifically that was like, yeah, they're offering me $750, man. They want me to jump. In the meantime, Bruce would be telling Paul he's lying to you. So guys would try that a lot in ECW.
This is the NFL. It says in the NFL, contract tampering is when a team negotiates with a player before the start of the new league year. This includes discussing contract terms, salaries, or other contract details. And then it says, for example, the Atlanta Falcons, you already know this, were fined $250,000, and general manager Terry Fontenot was fined an additional Fontenot was fined an additional $50,000 for illegally contacting quarterback Kirk Cousins before the new league year.
Okay.
Now I don't know what it is in wrestling.
Because wrestling's completely different. Those are employees. Wrestlers are independent contractors.
Let me see wrestling.
That's the difference. Trust me, I know this. I've had them when I was negotiating. Like I asked my lawyer, "Can I talk to the WWE?" He says, "Yes, as long as you talk about like when your deal is up, what you can do."
But hadn't you already been fired? Weren't you on your 60-day or 90-day out clause or whatever?
No, this is before that. This is the second time. The second time. Yeah.
This is what it says about wrestling. Contract tampering in wrestling is when a wrestling organization contacts another wrestling organization's talent with the intent of persuading them to break their contract.
Correct. So if you're telling them to break, like when their contract's done, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that conversation. Hey, when you're in November, when you're up, what are you thinking of doing? You want to come work for us?
So let me ask you a question. If you were to tell
this isn't even an argument. What's going on here?
If you were to tell, I'm just going to ask you a question, bro. If you were to tell Tony, hey, I've been contacted by WWE and they're asking me, and maybe Tony would say, why did you answer them? And if you were to tell, what's this guy, Pritchard, or I don't know who's in charge over there for talent relations, hey, AEW's gotten a hold of me and they're offering me this. Why are you accepting their cause? I don't think they'd be very happy, but that's just me.
Okay, so let me think one step further. Let's say Tony Khan got upset at Swerve for doing that, and I'm Swerve. You know, my first thing out of my mouth is
what?
Dude, you're letting MJF go on TV and tell everybody he's going to New York and burying you. Like I can't call them on my own. Like I can't talk to these guys on my own. Talk about my actual.
So what if Tony were to say, we came to a mutual agreement that he could do that because he signed up for me for 5 years, for example.
Okay. All right. Let me go one step further here because the gist of this argument that this guy's trying to make is that these are reasons why Swerve didn't go over Moxley for the belt. Okay. So I'm going to go back and say this conversation that we're having, I doubt it has anything to do with him losing that match. Would you agree with that?
Here's the thing. Monet said something about, and Joe would probably know better than me, saying something, I would like to go back to WWE, or when I'm done, I would like to go. And they didn't do anything.
Jericho said something too recently.
Right.
Yeah, but Jericho worded it a lot more like Chris.
Who cares, bro? We know what he means.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, we can play semantics and little games all we want. You know what's going on. A guy doesn't have to ask a girl, hey, you want to smash? Hey, want to get together at my place? You know what I'm saying? It's the same. And chill. So at the end of the day, I do think, and I have no inroads to this, Moxley has more power than Swerve, and he probably didn't want to do the job, but I don't know for sure.
Next one's from Jeremy Taylor.
Thank you, James Gandolfini.
By the way, Joe, me and Konnan have been ripping you for your attire. What is that shirt?
I feel like this came out bad, okay?
I mean,
and
you
a lot
look
of
like,
the,
dude, you look.
If you feel it came out bad, why are you wearing it?
I was in a
rush. Look like your entire vibe is like melancholy, dreary.
Yes.
His choices in attire is brutal, and no matter what we tell
Well, yours aren't that great either. I mean, let's
Well,
be brutally honest here. Okay,
bro, I dress up a lot better.
you
on
don't
this
dress
show.
up.
Yes,
you don't
I
dress
do.
up.
Yes,
no,
I
you
do.
don't.
Yes, I wear
That's
polo.
not.
This
That's
isn't.
North Carolina basketball shorts and what is that shirt? A charcoal.
Yeah,
what
it
does that
isn't.
shirt say?
It says Hard Rock, bro.
World famous Hard Rock.
Yeah, I'm always wearing cool Adidas. Yeah,
Yeah, that's questionable. So that's debatable.
it is.
So, were you saying we finish up your comment?
Like I said, I think Moxley maybe didn't want to do the job because there's
Does
no
Moxley
way.
have creative control?
There's no way. I'm pretty sure he does. Here's the thing, bro. I don't think he tried to get back at Swerve because everybody would be on for pushing a black talent because besides him, who are they pushing that's black? Lee, what's the little guy?
Like, they're not pushing Lee Johnson or Lee
Right,
Moriarty.
they're not pushing, or the guy that's
they're
with
pushing
Big
up
Bill.
Hobbs. That might be pushing a little bit.
But they stopped.
Well, the hurt
business is on a
there's
whole nother
there's
level.
plenty
Yeah.
of African Americans on that show that are getting.
Yeah,
that
I
are on
forgot
the
about the
TV
hurt
winning.
business. Yeah, they're the only ones that are really being pushed besides Swerve.
Yeah, that's considerable. You're talking about like the number,
one act and one guy.
The number one contender for the world heavyweight title and the number one tag team.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I don't think that he would push him or because he would get a lot of heat. I think from the hardcore fans because they're just waiting for any racial to pop off.
I wonder if that's not the dumbest thing either. Okay, is that if, dude, I don't know what the politicians are like these days, but dude, you've been in the car with Nash and Hall, that you know what these guys are all about, right? Just complete mind games, trying to like, okay. I just wonder, this is not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually very clever if he's doing this. Is Swerve kind of keeps the racial stuff like in the out in the open, so maybe they don't want to say, hey, protect. I'm going to protect myself because if they do try to bury me, I can bring this up. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's not a bad hypothesis.
No, it's a clever thing to do when you're in that top spot.
Bro, they're the same way that
you know what I'm saying.
They're the same way. I wouldn't say they're as smart as the guys that were in WCW, but they're the same way. If your clique doesn't like somebody, your clique doesn't rock with them. Mm-hmm. If you have power and you don't like somebody, you bury them to Tony. Like all those little things are going on there, just like they were in WCW.
And I'll admit, dude, Swerve is. I was surprised he didn't go over. I like everybody, their mother thought that this Death Rider stuff is done. We're fed up with it was like, okay, fine. We got Swerve back up and running. We got him hot again. Let's put it. And they didn't pull the trigger. Why on earth?
What's the most perplexing thing for me? Mm-hmm. Every time we do those most watched YouTube video, the Death Riders is number 1 or 2. And I'm like, who actually likes this?
Konnan, guess what?
What up?
This week, it's time for the Masters, and there's money to be made. My bookie is the ultimate spot to cash in on every swing, upset, and Sunday charge. This weekend also coincides with UFC 314. If you're new to my bookie, I've got something you're going to want to take advantage of. Deposit any amount, $50 up to $2,000, and get half match instantly with promo code MM50. No waiting, and you don't need to bet to receive it. Just bonus cash right away. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with my bookie. Promo code MM50.
Boom.
Next is from the Death Riders trio. These guys are going to continue wrestling as a trio.
This is from Jonathan. This is from Jonathan S. That's the title, Death Riders trio.
Okay, Jonathan S. He's Quiz Pimp Cis Canada.
Yes.
All right. You put it at the bottom, by the way, Joe. So the Death Riders trio. These guys are going to continue wrestling as a trio. Can we get a name that is befitting? I propose the name Soup Kitchen Blues as it fits perfectly for their appearance and charisma they generate. Claudio brings the excitement of a plate of cold lump potatoes. Pack is just there. Like some brown leafy lettuce that expired 3 days ago, and last but not certainly least, Wheeler Yuta looks like the typical unkempt, tremendous word for podcast listeners sending an email, non-shaved homeless bum eating at the soup kitchens. What do you guys think? Also, what is the best and worst music cover song of all time? Best for me is Got My Mind Set on You by George Harrison, classic song and video. All right. Worst is definitely American Pie by Madonna. Horrendous. Best national anthem by far is Disco Inferno doing Nikolai Volkov. Would you agree with that, Conan?
100.
For those of you who are not Patreon members, you have to get in on it. The unedited mailbag is worth it alone. And that's from Jonathan S. Quispam Canada. Well, first of all, they need to. I mean, bro, here's the funny thing. Did you see the finish of the Moxley match?
Which one?
The Swerve, the pay-per-view. The Young Bucks interfered.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I did.
This is hysterical. Bro, all the AEW stands are like talking about this is unbelievable long-term storytelling because what Moxley was talking about the entire time was the elite, being the guys behind their thing and like coming back and then doing the thing. Oh, by the way, Joe, get a shot of the Young Bucks and that finish of the match in the crowd after the match. Konnan, remember when I said, what if the Young Bucks come back all like with their shirts off and all jacked?
Right.
Look at them. They went away for a few months and everything. Obviously, been hitting the gym pretty hard.
Good.
Like they look good. Look at that.
Let me see.
I mean,
And they got a tan, right?
I mean, dude, was I right or not?
Yeah.
I mean, they absolutely look.
We both been saying it. Yeah.
Right?
Him, Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia.
Look good.
Yeah.
So that they got value there. They didn't just come back looking
The same.
based on the well stuff that people could criticize them over. They took away the criticisms. But the funny thing about it is people say, "Oh, this is a long-term story." It's like, dude, you really tanked your TV for that long for that payoff. It's like the people payoff at the end. Like the thing like that. That's not the type of like you don't want to like do a long-term storyline like that if your numbers are going down repeatedly, and the Death Riders are not really getting over.
I didn't really see much positive sentiment, DI. Like you said, you saw, hey, look at this long-term storytelling.
No. I'm repeating what their fans were saying on the internet.
I saw a lot. I didn't see. I just saw negativity, and it reminded me of, and as Konnan well knows, and Disco, too, being on a creative team. If you don't give the guy the belt or do the change at the right time, you water it down, you fumble, and then when it happens 3 months down the road, it's not. Nobody cares, right? It seemed like the crowd was ready for Swerve to take the belt. They didn't do it, and I think they missed an opportunity. They left a lot of people unhappy at that show.
Right.
And
the next is from the mayor, but not of K100 from Passaic, New Jersey. Who's actually how's this truce with Ivory go with Jed Franklin?
As far as I know, they're still going back and forth.
Well, they had a truce there for like a week or two, didn't they?
I didn't heard that.
Yeah, we had
they said it on the show.
Oh yeah, but it was sarcastic, wasn't it? It wasn't a real.
Oh, it might have been. I don't know. You're still not in the Discord, Joe?
Nah.
Why not? I need somebody to police that. I'm. How am I supposed to suspend people if you're not even in there to see the suspension?
You could email it to me. Screenshot.
Next is from the mayor, but not of K100 from Passaic, New Jersey. What's good, fellas? Recently, K100 has some really good content and a lot of funny. Some recent favorites are Joe's Last Meal, the Pizza Diaper Sandwich, and the Call from K100. An all-timer for me is a conspiracy that Tony Schiavone has taken all the Pizza Hut points from Tony Khan's delivery orders for the talent. K100 is awesome. Oh, that's from Adam DeMoy. He exposed that scam. My question this week is if we can get Stevie Ray back on the show. It's been a while, and he's a great guest. The recent Booker T and Swerve situation, I think it'd be cool to have him pop off, especially if the Swerve disrespected Booker on the mic after show. Dude most definitely didn't say Booker T when Booker confronted him. So when Booker confronted him, so as your former mayor, I have to decree that was the mayor. P.S. The mayor's an influential guy. My current food debacle with Doko Joe Feeney has stirred up a sleeper cell of New Jersey pizza advocates and Philly purists who were on young Joseph for talking about the club from outside the club. Soon Joe is going to start saying things like McDonald's is better than Wendy's and the best beer is Keystone Light. We had the Sick Joe saga for a while, and now we've had Bad Opinion Joe. Interesting. PSS, Disco, I need to respectfully correct you on something. Jason Turpin recently appealed a suspension. You said it was the first official attempt at an appeal. I was actually the first. There's never been a successful official appeal of a suspension in K100 history to my knowledge, but I could be wrong. To be honest, I doubt there ever will be one. Ivory likes thigh slapping. He enjoys getting slapped with Joe's RV friends in the woods.
No, I think my
Interesting.
dad got a reprieve from his suspension. Remember, you suspended him for calling himself Mr. Wonderful, and then the following week,
Yeah.
no, I gave him that. I think he might have had an appeal there.
Joe, Conan, what did you think about Swerve saying Booker T on the mic after the show?
No,
It's
it's
gonna
kind of
res-
that's
well,
kind of uncalled for.
Not really.
I thought so.
No, but it's going to be good for Booker because now he can respond to it on his show. Give views and it's actually good. It actually helps Booker's show out.
Sure.
Okay,
I,
because
dou-
now
I doubt
everybody and
that's
their
what he was
mother.
thinking.
No, he wasn't thinking that, but now Booker gets to cut a promo back on him, and Booker knows how to cut a good promo. So that's going to be an interesting little war of words between those two guys. Two guys I like. I don't like to see two guys I like beefing like that, but
What do
What do
you
you have to What do you have to say, Joe, about the sleeper cell?
You know what? I'm going to stand up for Keystone Light here. There's nothing wrong with Keystone Light as a beer, especially if you're tailgating. Like, it's a long day. You need a light beer that's not going to weigh you down. You know what I mean? Keystone Light tastes. It's not like Coors Light tastes like. Keystone Light's all right. What do you guys think about this McDonald's Wendy's? Is it that crazy to say McDonald's is better than Wendy's?
Joe, your whole shtick now is what is under scrutiny because like you are assuming you're taking the L position in each argument. Like you're taking the L. Like you're calling out Jersey pizza, and I think most people consider Jersey pizza better than Philly pizza. You're trying to say that like McDonald's is competitive to Wendy's? Am I
said
hearing this
that?
correctly? He's saying it right now.
I asked you guys if what you liked better with McDonald's.
Well,
Wendy's
I'm
is way
asking
better
you.
than McDonald's. It's not even close.
I got a really Wendy's here. It hasn't been good in so long. And the McDonald's, you know what you're going to get. But when Wendy's is really bad, it's a letdown because you're expecting good.
When's Wendy been bad?
It's down here. Last 10, 15 years, it's just they got staff and it takes forever. Everybody hates that Wendy's.
And you're really going to put over Keystone Light?
Yeah, Keystone Light's fine. It's fine. It's a domestic light beer, you know.
Well,
As long as
but
you're not
this
expecting
this
anything.
is why you're getting so much heat from the fans.
There it is.
It's like you're taking positions that nobody else is arguing for. Like you're
Right.
you're on an island by yourself arguing
Get
these
that
things and like.
Keystone Light sponsorship.
What do you think about everybody referring to you as Doko Joe now? Are you a fan of that?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Next, our boy Brian Dunlap, the resident booker that Konnan suspended a couple weeks ago for. So he's back.
He's back.
His suspension is lifted. Brian Dunlap, living in a border town between Queens and Nassau, New York, got some questions to ask. How would you grade Jon Moxley's current reign as AEW World Champion? How does it compare to Swerve's reign? How would you rate Dustin Rhodes' AEW run? I bring up Dustin because he posted an X asking fans if AEW should bring back the King of the Road match, and he wanted to do that match with Mox. The day after I tweeted that Dustin they should bring that match back, brother. It's been 30 years since the last one in WCW. Marks seemingly didn't like it the first time, but plenty of the people responding to Dustin's posts liked the idea. I think there's something unique and different and could potentially pop a good social media number. What does K100 think? Brian,
What is King of the Road?
Exactly. That's my initial thought is, Brian, don't be so full of yourself thinking that like you mentioned a match and literally probably 2% of the audience knows what you're talking about to Dustin, and Dustin brought it up as like an example of your brilliant genius booking ideas. I have no idea what the King of the Road match is. I couldn't care less, and I don't care to see Jon Moxley wrestle Dustin Rhodes.
King of the Road was before you guys got to WCW. Dustin and Barry Darsow wrestled in a moving flatbed truck, and you won the match by getting to the end and honking the horn.
That's brutal.
Why don't you honk the kazoo right now, Konnan? Next is Brian. Let me ask you. Brian Dunlap kind of fancies his post as being very important. Bro, you were suspended for 2 weeks, and this is literally what you talked about. First of all, Jon Moxley's reign has been terrible. Hadn't been even close to the one Swerve. I mean, Swerve's reign wasn't that great either. The Swerve's drive to win the championship was actually really good. But when they make him champion, they were doing like his booking was very questionable. So when Dustin's still there, you know, he's not a good weekly television character, but he's good in spots because he cuts a good promo.
And he has good matches.
Yeah, he's a good attraction for like every 3 months. You can interject him in a 2 to 3 to 4 week storyline, and for a match, it'll be a good match. So.
And it extended his career for sure because he wouldn't have been on WWE TV as much as he is on.
His value hasn't diminished.
No,
let's put it that way. But you don't want to expose an older guy like that and put him on TV constantly. But every time he's on, he does well.
Yep.
So Next is on Coney. You're being very noisy with your thing on the pillow there. So the last one here for the Patreon mailbags is from the Big Bot Man. First of all, Swerve Strickland. This chump let the butterfly cowboy drink his blood reminiscent of the antebellum South, and he's upset Booker T didn't speak up when Vince McMahon said "my ninja" to Cena, which was hilarious. Plus, Booker T's character was clearly, insult Ryan Satin voice, clearly offended and not cool with it. It was supposed to show McMahon was out of touch, even Cena's facial reaction said so, but more importantly, it was funny and people are still talking about it. Anyways, in my opinion, Booker T's the greatest sports entertainer of all time. And number 2 isn't even close. And race has nothing to do with this. It's a mix of white, native, and Mexican. Anyways, do you guys remember when Booker T commentated his own match in TNA? It's hilarious. Dion, did you have anything to do with it since you were in booking at the time? And what do you guys remember about this and how the locker room reacted? Also, Dion, I think you and Booker T had some of the most entertaining matches together in WCW. You guys worked great together and always had great crowd participation. So what would you guys think about a Booker T and Disco Inferno match against Ricochet and Swerve? Who would win? Who would the crowd cheer? How would you lay out the match, Di? Joe, I sent you a link of Booker T calling his spots at TNA on X. Roll the tape.
Beautiful. This beautiful. Oh, what the hell's going on here? What the hell's going on? Oh, hell. Look, it looks like Booker T's coming up. Booker T's trying to get up from the back.
Of course, I would join in the fray if it wasn't for this staph infection in my elbow. And come on.
Yes. Booker T's beating up everybody in the ring. Boom. Booker T just put a big shot in the jaw. Boom. Booker T with another big shot in the jaw. Boom. Big Booker T. Booker T just pulled Creed up. Booker T's pulling Creed up right now. He's going to hit him with that big thrust kick. Oh. Booker T just caught Creed with that big thrust kick. What's going on? There's a lot of mayhem out here. Hey, looking at Pete Williams. He sees Speedy standing there. Petey's down. He's dogging him. He's got a big kick set up. Where he's going to catch him at. He's going to get...
Well, it looks like the Main Event Mafia continues.
Booker T's the man.
And the Impact.
All right, Cody, what did you think of that?
That was great. I'd already left. Yeah.
That was very entertaining. I had nothing to do with that. I don't think I was booking back then. I was not there for that, or I don't remember that. Yeah, bro, when you're asking me to remember specific matches, like if I have a hard Conan, how are you remembering? Yeah, it's like come on, like there's thousands of matches. Like I don't remember this, but that was very entertaining, Big Bomb man. Thanks for that crowd. By the way, me and Booker T would have to go over Ricochet and Swerve. To be honest with you, it would be a logical booking. But do you agree with that, Conan?
Yes.
You would put me in. Yeah, good.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.